It's been 10 years since Usopp unlocked observation haki and we've gotten 0 updates. That is nuts, but that's all about to change once we get to Elbaf. Now that Dorry and Broggy have entered Egghead to save the Straw Hats, everything is about to change. And because of what the Straw Hats have done for the Giants in general, saving Dorry and Broggy, Oimo and Kashii, Hiruden, even helping take down Big Mom, and the Giants seem to have a good relationship with the red-haired pirates, they're gonna treat the Straw Hats and Usopp as heroes. Just like how Whole Cake was to Sanji and Wano was to Zoro, I think Elbaf will be a very important arc for Usopp's character as well as him power-wise, because honestly, he really needs it, especially if he plans to surpass Usopp and Van Augur and become the king of snipers, because right now this man's gonna die. So walk with me as we talk about Usopp's potential as well as what we can expect from him in Elbaf, what power-ups he will be getting in the future, because God knows this man desperately needs it, as his potential might surprise you. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Without further ado, let's talk about everyone's favorite sniper. Now, when it comes to Usopp, Oda stated that he is and always will be the weakest Straw Hat, but that might not be the case forever, as eventually the Straw Hats will be fighting the Blackbeard pirates and Usopp will most likely be fighting Van Augur, and boy, that guy is actually nasty with the Warp fruit and is easily one of the greatest snipers we've ever seen in the story. Like, he's actually pretty nuts, and right now Usopp is not ready for this guy, but he has unlocked observation haki, which means he has potential to not only hone his skills but also learn other forms of haki. At least I would hope so, otherwise Van Augur is gonna Swiss cheese his ass up. Observation haki in particular is gonna be something he has to master, because Van Augur can teleport wherever he is, but if he has future sight or really good observation, he'll be able to pinpoint where he's gonna go or where he is, and thus will be a hard counter against Van Augur, who will rely on his devil fruit. I think that's the obvious solution as to how Usopp will overcome Van Augur. But also, we know that you can apply haki onto bullets as well as projectiles and arrows, as seen with Amazon Lily, Ben Beckman, and other snipers in the show like Izo. This is definitely a skill I would hope Usopp learns in the future. Now, there is another form of haki that Usopp could get for himself, and that is, of course, Conquerors haki. He is very charismatic, a great leader. He's the entire reason the Straw Hat Grand Fleet was created in the first place. And as we all know, Usopp lies always come true, and he has lied on several occasions on having Conquerors haki. This could be a hint at Usopp unlocking this and finding out that he also has the will of a supreme king, and thus could complete or further his goal in becoming a brave warrior. And Usopp is one of 3 members within the crew alongside Zoro and Luffy, who has declared wanting to become king of something. Zoro wanted to be king of hell as well as become the world's strongest swordsman sitting at the top of the summit. Luffy wants to be pirate king, and Usopp wants to become the king of snipers, or at least that's what he stated during the 2-year time skip. The Straw Hats are the future Pirate King crew, and considering other crews in the past like Whitebeard, Roger, and Rocks, they had several Conquer Haki users in that crew. I don't see why the Straw Hats can't as well. But also, when you look at Usopp, the entire reason Usopp even wanted to become a pirate was so he can understand why his father abandoned his family in order to chase this dream, while also wanting to become a brave warrior himself. Usopp is one of the top executives of the red-haired pirates and is considered one of the strongest members in the crew, being called out by Brand New, even being famous and making a name for himself within the crew. And the red-haired pirates do have the highest average bounty out of all the Yonko. So if Usopp truly does want to become a brave warrior and the king of snipers, he is going to have to surpass his father in terms of strength, sniping skills, and of course bounty. So it's very possible that Usopp has the potential to become one of the top 4 members within the Straw Hat crew, at least in terms of status and fame. It would be some nut shit if Usopp ended up becoming the top 4 strongest within the crew at the end of the series, but also would be kinda cool as he went from being the weakest to one of the strongest. I don't think it'll go that far, but I do think he'll have top 5 highest bounties come the end of the series. We don't know Usopp's, but I'm willing to bet that Usopp will have a higher one than him. And of course, saving Hiruden back in Dressrosa, he already has a pretty familiar and friendly stance with the Giants of Elbaf. Something Big Mom wishes she could have, but a little more on her later because she might be very important to the character development of Usopp later on. But anywho, this arc is going to be pivotal for the growth of Usopp, as he'll learn what it really means to be a brave warrior. And in Elbaf, Usopp will once again make a name for himself, growing his infamy even further, just like how he did in Skype and Dressrosa. I wouldn't be surprised if another statue is built in his honor here. In all honesty, this guy is quite literally the modern day Nolan, as those two have a lot of similarities, as well as they're both botanists. After the time skip, Usopp got familiar with plants, but also was a savior for the Shandians as well as the dwarves, and both were considered liars when in fact their lies were actually true, or at least in Usopp's case will become true. Also off topic, there was a lie that Usopp would tell his mother about this wonder medicine that could cure any and all diseases, and then I immediately start thinking of Chopper and his dream to cure all illnesses and diseases, and it's possible that this medicine could end up becoming real through Chopper creating it or them finding it in an island across the ocean like Usopp lied about. A little off topic, but I just thought it was cool to bring up. And speaking of lies, one of my favorite theories that I've ever heard is that Usopp will get his hands on Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, because Norse mythology is very integrated with the Elbaf culture. Usopp always had that dumb little lie where he was carrying that 10-ton, 5-ton hammer, so it would be pretty dope that in the future Usopp could actually fulfill that and actually carry a 10-ton hammer and actually whack people with it and prove that he actually is pretty damn strong. I think that'd be such a great full circle moment. But speaking of Norse mythology, we know the current ruler, or well, prince of Elbaf is Loki, and if you're familiar with the mythology, you know Loki is usually considered in a lot of media as like an evil god, or more so chaotic neutral, as the guy is the god of mischief. And so I would not be surprised that an eventual battle between Usopp and Loki could take place in this battle. Usopp quite literally known as the god as well, fighting the god of mischief, exposing the prince of Elbaf as he's not really the guy they all think he is, which honestly might make a lot of sense because for some reason Lola did reject Loki from being married to him, which is odd because she'll marry anything that walks. You could say it's because she wants to choose her own destiny or man, but come on, it's Lola, it's Loki. I think there's a lot more going on here. This guy was willing to put away the differences between the giants of Elbaf and Big Mom just to marry Lola. That sounds a little weird to me. And speaking of Big Mom, I mentioned earlier that she could be very important for Usopp's growth, and that's because I believe she will return one last time and be involved with the Elbaf arc. Yes, you're groaning, you're rolling your eyes, me too, I get it. She's very annoying, but I think her character arc should be finished or incomplete in the Elbaf arc because there is a reason Oda said that the giants as well as Streusen are the only people on the planet that know the truth to what happened to Mother Caramel. This is where I think Big Mom will learn the truth and it'll break her mind. But more importantly, the reason I think she'll be important for Usopp's character growth is because she hates the giants and wants them on her side, where Usopp naturally has them and gaining their loyalty and trust through his good deeds. And this will obviously make Big Mom mad, but also she has a very unique ability where she can steal your soul through fear. So I think this would be a great character moment if she uses this on Usopp, only for it not to work. That right there would prove that Usopp really has become a brave warrior. And we are in the final saga of One Piece, which means some characters' dreams are going to be accomplished sooner rather than later, and it's possible that Usopp could be one of the first to do so. And this arc and moment could be a great way to showcase that. Now, according to Usopp, the giants of Elbaf are what he envisions to be a brave warrior, but many people would say that Usopp kinda already accomplished his dream, but he just hasn't realized it. Because he's already a pretty courageous person, because when it really comes down to it, Usopp will always stand on business even when the odds are against him, but when his friends are in danger, he'll always come through to help them out. Maybe I'm bugging and I have way too high expectations for him, but I don't care. I think he's gonna live up to expectations, maybe even surpass them for some people, because Usopp desperately is in need of a power-up, and seeing just what he's done with Robin, Zoro, Sanji, and even Luffy, a lot of people are expecting a lot of things from Usopp, and I think Oda will not disappoint. And Elbaf could be the place where he finally fulfills his dreams and is one step closer to becoming king of the snipers.